Hello guys and gals, and this is part 6 of the World of Warcraft, the official cookbook, by Chelsea Monroe-Cassel. If there are any copyright issues, send me an email, and I will take the video down immediately. Anyways, in the last episode, we left off with Graku's homemade meat pie. And we will be starting off with Ironforge Rations, which should be really interesting. Okay, let's see here. Anyways, let's see what we got here. Open up the book. Main dishes. Looks like Ironforge Rations are on page 131. So, let's find that page. We are not ready for Ogri'La chicken fingers quite yet. Here we are. Ironforge Rations. They look really good. They remind me a lot of tacos, actually. Which is beautiful, actually. That looks like a bread bowl, actually. But I don't know. Like I say, I haven't read this yet, so we're going to learn together. Okay, it says here, this is an expert level recipe. Prep time is 15 minutes. It makes 4 to 6 small servings. And it pairs well with beer, pickled vegetables, sharp cheeses, mashed root vegetables. So potatoes. Anyways, it says here, this dwarven recipe contains a beautiful pairing of haggis and beer, which has been the lunch of champions for over 1,000 years. Simple, entirely satisfying, and perfect for when you need a quick meal on indefinite guard duty. I can totally relate to that. Having played the game, and having, like, the Horde invade Ironforge, which I've done before. Anyways, what you will need is 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 to 3 shallots thinly sliced, a pinch of salt, 1 15-ounce can of haggis, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 12-ounce of beer, 4 to 6 slices of rustic bread, toasted, 1 cup shredded cheddar cheese. I can get my tongue untied, and salt and pepper are optional. It says, melt the butter in a frying pan over medium heat. Add the shallots and cook until they are soft and translucent. Add the salt and the haggis, break it up, and spread it around the pan until it is heated thoroughly. Work in the flour until it has been absorbed. Then chase with about 1/3 of the beer. This mixture should start forming into a sort of thick gravy. Depending on your preferences, add a little more of the beer for a looser texture. Divide the haggis evenly between your slices of bread, top with cheddar cheese, and place under the broiler until the cheese is melted. Top with a pinch of salt and pepper to garnish and enjoy. That was Ironforge Rations. Next we have Ogri'La chicken fingers. And again, those are beautiful too. Okay, so let's see what it says here. This is an apprentice level recipe. Prep time is 10 minutes. Baking time is 15 to 20 minutes, and it makes about 4 servings or a dozen strips. Pairs well with ketchup, honey, mustard, your choice of dipping sauce, French fries. Probably go good with the cheddar beer dip too that we had a couple episodes back. It says, if you've got a powerful hunger after venturing into the Blade's Edge Mountains, look no further for the cure than a nice basket of giant Ogri'La chicken fingers. There's probably one of the ogres of Ogri'La. Okay, what you'll need is 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1.5 cups of panko breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/4 cup Parmesan cheese, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of flour, pinch each of salt and pepper, and 1 pound of chicken breast cut into 1-inch strips. I thought for a minute there it said chips. And I'm thinking, whoa, chicken strips. Chips. But anyways, what you're going to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and line a large baking sheet with parchment paper. Set a cooling rack atop this, which will help the chicken cook evenly. Heat the olive oil over medium heat in a wide skillet. Pour in the breadcrumbs and the garlic powder and stir occasionally. As the breadcrumbs roast, up to a golden brown color. About 5 minutes. Remove from heat and pour into a medium bowl. Once the breadcrumbs are cool, mix in the Parmesan cheese and set aside. In a separate bowl, mix together the egg, mustard, flour, salt, and pepper. Work with one piece at a time. Dip the strip of chicken into the batter, allowing the excess to drip off. Then dip into the breadcrumbs, covering both sides. Place the bread chicken on the rack and repeat with the remaining pieces. Bake for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the chicken is done and the edge of the chicken strips have started to brown slightly. Serve instantly with your choice of dipping sauce. And that was the Ogri'La chicken fingers. Up next we have roasted quail. I forget where this one is from. I'm thinking this is a Wargen recipe. I'm not sure though. Okay, it says here, it's an expert level recipe. Prep time is 10 minutes. Cooking time is 25 minutes. It makes 2 servings. And it serves well with spiced pilaf. So it serves well with rice. As a much-loved meal around the south of the Eastern Kingdom, these sweet and savory morsels are well worth the effort of making them. While ogres enjoy this dish as a light snack, polishing off a whole quail in a single crunchy bite, smaller races will find more easily eaten with one's hands. Okay. What this will take is 6 quails, 2 cloves of fresh minced garlic, 1 tablespoon fresh minced savory herbs, chef's choice, divided, 1 large red onion cut into eighths, 2 tablespoons olive oil divided, 1 teaspoon balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons brown sugar, a pinch of nutmeg, salt and pepper to taste, 1/2 pound grapes divided into small clusters, and 1/4 cup of apple cider. Now, what are we going to do with all this, you ask? Let's find out. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Combine the minced garlic and the fresh herbs in a small bowl. Then spread a little of the mixture inside each quail. Toss the onions with 1 tablespoon of the oil, balsamic vinegar, brown sugar, and nutmeg. Spread the onion mixture in the bottom of a roasting pan. Place the quail on top of the onions, breast side down, cook for 10 minutes and flip over, brush with a little oil, and sprinkle with salt and pepper. Spread the clusters of grapes around the quail, pour the cider into the bottom of the pan, and return to the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes or so. If you'd like a more golden color, place the quail under the broiler for a few minutes until they are nicely browned. That was roasted quail. Next we have Savory Deviant Delight, and I remember this recipe. This was always a fun one to find. This is a master level recipe. Prep time is 10 minutes. Cooking time is 20 minutes. It makes 6 small tacos, and it pairs well with kumgalush, which is on page 204. Kumgalush will be episode 9. Anyways, somebody stole a recipe from a pirate named Stinkbraid, and strange things started happening to those who made the delicious dish. When you try Savory Deviant Delight, beware of flipping out or turning into a pirate. That's why I remember it. What you will need is vegetable oil for frying, 3 tilapia fillets cut in half, pinch of salt and pepper, 2 cups of yellow corn, 1/2 cup red bell peppers, diced, splash of white wine vinegar, 6 small flour tortillas, 1/2 cup tartar sauce, about 1 cup red cabbage finely shredded, and for the batter you will need 1.5 cups of flour, 1/4 cup cornstarch, 1.5 cups buttermilk, and a pinch each of salt and cayenne pepper. Funny thing about tartar sauce is that was Grumpy Cat's real name. It was tartar sauce because the owner worked at like Long John Silver or something. So the cat was named Tartar Sauce. But it was spelled differently than the tartar sauce on here. Anyways, it says pour about 1 inch of oil into a small frying pan and begin heating over medium heat to about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Combine all the ingredients for the batter in a small mixing bowl. Whisk together until you have a thick, smooth mixture. Pat dry the fish fillets and dip them in the batter, then gently lower them into the hot oil. Let strips of battered fish cook for a minute or two on each side until a nice golden color. Then remove to a plate lined with paper towels to drain. In a separate pan, add a dash of oil, then roast the corn and red pepper for a few minutes until they begin to brown, and add a splash of vinegar. Stir for another 30 seconds and remove from heat. Sprinkle with salt and pepper. To put together the tacos, spread a dollop of tartar sauce down in the middle of the tortilla. Lay one piece of fried fish over that, then top with the corn mixture and cabbage. Serve immediately. And that's the result right there. And it's beautiful. I don't think this version will exactly turn you into a pirate, though, but that's okay. Okay, now here we have skewered peanut chicken. Now, I've had peanut chicken before from like a Chinese restaurant. It was really good, so this should be pretty good. Let's see. This is an expert level recipe. It requires 5 to 10 minutes of prep time. You marinate for at least 4 hours, and cooking time is 10 minutes. It makes 4 servings, and it pairs well with rice and sautéed vegetables. That's all good to know. And again, that's beautiful, by the way. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see. The Pandarin specialty features tender, flavorful chicken doused in a rich, creamy peanut sauce, served over a bed of rice and garnished with fresh tomatoes and snap peas. Who could want more? What you'll need are 4 large chicken breasts. For the marinade, you'll need 1/2 cup of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon freshly grated ginger, a pinch of salt, cherry tomatoes, and snap peas for garnish. Those are optional. For the sauce, you'll need 1/4 cup creamy peanut butter, 1 13-ounce can of coconut milk, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon soy sauce, 1.5 tablespoons red curry paste. And what you will do is combine the marinade ingredients along with the chicken breast in a large bowl or a sturdy plastic bag. Refrigerate for at least 4 hours or overnight, stirring occasionally to make sure that the meat is completely covered. Soak 4 wooden skewers in water. Make the sauce by combining the sauce ingredients in a small saucepan over medium heat. Gently stir everything together until the mixture is creamy and smooth. Remove from heat and allow to cool slightly. Thread the whole chicken breast onto the wooden skewers. Grill over medium-high heat, flipping halfway through until the meat is cooked through about 10 minutes. Plate the chicken, drizzle with sauce, and enjoy. Cook's note: you may garnish the skewers with cherry tomatoes and snap peas if you like, but do so after grilling the vegetables. After grilling, the vegetables will likely overcook otherwise. And we have, that's a Pandarin right there. That might be, what's his name? Storm Stout. Okay, now we have the slow roasted turkey. This is an expert level recipe. Prep time is 10 minutes. Cooking time is 20 minutes per pound. Makes 1 roasted turkey for mini servings, and it pairs well with candied sweet potatoes, page 31. Cranberry chutney, page 35. Hot apple cider, page 202. And I'm not exactly sure what episodes those are in, but I'll try and figure that out eventually. What better way to give thanks for a bountiful harvest than with this showpiece of Pilgrim's Bounty? This tender and flavorful bird will satisfy everyone in your party, but don't be surprised if it also lures a few strangers who are eager for a serving. What you'll need is 1 whole turkey, 12 pounds or more, 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 cups of apple cider, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 onion roughly chopped, 1 batch of spiced bread stuffing, see page 51, and that's optional, 1/4 cup butter melted, 3/4 cup white wine, 1 tablespoon autumnal herbs, page 18. Now I know that is on that's episode 1. Salt to taste, and cornstarch for gravy. Next, preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit and place a rack into a large roasting pan with tall sides. Put the chicken broth, apple cider, and honey into the bottom of the pan and add the chopped onion. Stuff the turkey, if using stuffing, and place on the rack. Combine the melted butter, wine, and autumnal herbs in a small bowl. Brush this mixture over the turkey, then sprinkle with the salt to help the browning process. Cook the turkey for 30 minutes, then reduce heat to 350. Baste the turkey with the juices in the pan every 45 minutes or so. For flavor and color. The turkey should cook for about 20 minutes per pound until the internal temperature has reached 165 degrees Fahrenheit. If the bird starts to brown too much, place a loose tint of tinfoil over the top. Make sure it doesn't actually touch the skin. You can also add a cup at a time of extra water to the bottom of the pan if too much has cooked off. When done, remove the turkey from the oven, transfer it to a platter, and make the gravy. Now, gravy. For the best gravy, leave the drippings from the pan sit for a brief time to allow the fat to rise to the top, where you can strain and skim it off and discard. Pour the drippings into a wide pan over low heat. Mix the cornstarch with a splash of water to dissolve it. Then whisk it into the drippings. Use about 1 teaspoon cornstarch for every cup of drippings, and more if you prefer a thicker gravy. That is the slow roasted turkey, and I'm going to make sure. Yeah, it is. Okay. Next, we have the tender Shoveltusk steak. Shoveltusk are really weird-looking creatures, and I don't exactly remember what they look like, but I remember that they look really interesting. They are a Northrend creature, to be exact. And there we have that. Now, isn't that beautiful? Did we take a look at the turkey, though? I don't remember. But that's the turkey. But here we are. This is the Shoveltusk steak. And this is an apprentice-level recipe. Prep time is 5 minutes. Cooking time is 15 minutes. Sauce takes 10 minutes to make, and it makes 2 servings. Pairs well with roasted green vegetables, sautéed carrots on page 45, and rich red wine. Now, I'm trying to remember where the sautéed carrots are, but I don't remember. Think of a cross between a boar and a stag, and you've got yourself a Shoveltusk. This steak is beloved by magic users who claim it gives them just a little bit of an edge casting their spells. Don't ask us how. This will take 2 steaks, about 1 pound each, at room temperature. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 to 2 tablespoons unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon salt, 1 teaspoon northern spices, page 20 or episode 1, 1 clove of garlic minced, and 1 cup of red wine. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to melt the olive oil and butter in a skillet over medium-high heat. Mix together the salt, northern spices, and garlic in a small bowl, and liberally cover both sides of the steak with the seasoning. Lower the steaks into a pan and sear for a minute or 2. Flip and cook for another minute or 2, then carefully add the wine. The pan will hiss and spatter for a moment. Cook for a few more minutes for medium rare steaks. When the meat is done to your liking, remove to a cutting board, cover loosely with foil, and allow the steak to rest while you finish the sauce. Reduce the liquid in the pan until it has thickened somewhat, but is still pourable, roughly 10 minutes. Is there 2 pages to this? Nope. And that's that. And then that's the drippings right there. I mean, the sauce there is on the bottom. That's cool. Okay, next we have Winter Veil Roast. My phone came unplugged. Okay. Let's see. Here we are. This is an expert level recipe. Prep time is 15 minutes. Cooking time is 1 hour, and it makes 4 to 6 servings. It pairs well with the sautéed carrots on page 45 and mashed potatoes and red wine. Next, it says, the rich sauce is imbued with the familiar smells and flavors of the merry winter veil season, which will remind you of holidays past whenever you enjoy this dish. What you'll need is, for the roast, you'll need 1 top round roast, about 3 pounds, olive oil, and salt and pepper. For the sauce, you'll need 1.5 cups of red wine, 3 shallots, roughly chopped, 1-inch knob ginger, a 1-inch knob of ginger, diced, a pinch of ground cinnamon, a pinch of finely ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon of balsamic vinegar, and 4 tablespoons of salted butter. I'm always trying to enunciate the differences. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Rub the roast all over with the oil, then sprinkle liberally with salt and pepper. Place in a roasting tray and cook for about an hour or until the temperature in the middle of the roast registers about 145 degrees Fahrenheit for medium doneness. While the roast is cooking, prepare the sauce. Bring all the ingredients except the butter to a simmer in a small saucepan and gently reduce the mixture for about 10 to 15 minutes. Taste and adjust the seasoning accordingly, then whisk in the butter a little bit at a time until the sauce looks smooth. Strain out the shallots and ginger and spoon over the slices of roast. Fabulous. Now we have desserts. And we are going to go over these really quick. We won't go over all these in this episode, but actually we're going to take an entire episode next time to do desserts, which is fun. Okay, we have Bloodberry Tart on page 149, Cheery Cherry Pie on 151, Chocolate Celebration Cake on 153, Chocolate Cookies on 155, and that's where we are going to conclude the episode. Then Conjured Manna Buns on 157, Conjured Manna Strudel on 159, Dalaran Brownie on 161, Deep Fried Plantain on 163, Delicious Chocolate Cake on 165, Gingerbread Cookies on 169, Goblin Shortbread on 171, Gracchus Mincemeat Fruit Cake on 171, Mango Ice on 175, Moser's Magnificent Muffins on 177, Palm Fruit Slices on 181, Pumpkin Pie on 183, and we will conclude the next video on that one. Rice Pudding on 185, Lilac Claws on 187, and Sugar Dusted Chow Twists on 189, and Versicolor Treat on 191. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the Bloodberry Tart. After we look at these pictures here, that are beautiful. I see the Lilac Claws, the Versicolor Treat, that's one of the cakes, and that's the pie. Now, here we have the Bloodberry Tart. Beautiful, by the way. Phone came unplugged again. Okay, let's see. It says here, this is an expert level recipe. Prep time is 15 minutes. Baking time is 40 minutes. Cooling time is 2 hours, and it makes 8 servings. It pairs well with a splash of heavy cream and herbal tea. So, let's see. It says, there's a mystery why nobody but alchemists go to Quail to pick bloodberries. They're delicious. While this recipe doesn't provide the same beneficial properties as the bloodberry version, it gives a fair approximation of the bloodberry's color and flavor. So, I remember the Isle of Quail I like that place. Okay, so what you will need is 1 batch flaky pie dough on page 2, episode 1, if you're watching the series. 10 ounces of crushed raspberries, 1 pound blueberries, 2 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of powdered pectin, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and a pinch of ground cardamom. Not to be confused with cardigan, which is a sweater. This is cardamom. Cardamom. Anyway, begin by making the crust. Roll out the batch of flaky pie dough into a large circle about 1/8 inch thick. Carefully drape the dough over a 9-inch tart pan or a standard pie pan. Press the dough into the bottom of the pan and then trim off any excess. Poke the dough in the bottom of the tin all over with a fork to keep the dough from bubbling up while it bakes. If using a pie pan, you may wish to pinch the crust into a decorative shape. Use the extra dough to add cutout embellishments. Place the prepared shell in the freezer for about 30 minutes while you make the filling. Preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Place the raspberries in a small saucepan over medium-low heat and cook gently until the berries fall apart. Strain the berry pulp into a clean medium bowl. Discard the seeds. Return to the pan and add the remaining ingredients. Bring to a boil and cook for a few minutes. Remove from heat and pour into a bowl. Place the berry mixture into the fridge to cool. When you are ready to make the tart, preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Pour the berry filling into the crust, then slide the baking sheet into the oven. Bake for about 75 minutes or until the crust is golden and the filling is bubbling. Carefully remove the tart from the oven, still on the baking sheet, and allow to cool completely for around 2 hours before cutting. Otherwise, the filling will be runny. Is that all? Yep, that's all. And that was Bloodberry Tart. Beautiful, by the way. Next we have Cheery Cherry Pie. This is a master level recipe. Prep time is 15 minutes. Baking time is 40 minutes. It makes one pie or about 8 servings. And it pairs well with fruity red wine or port. Not being familiar with alcohol, I have no idea what port is, but that's okay. This pie is dark, but so is Gilneas, and nobody knows how to make a pie like Chris Muller. The rich flavors of this recipe are decadent and warming, just the thing to keep you off dangerous streets at night. What you will need for this is, and this is a Gilnean pie, that's good. The Wargen, in other words. Anyways, 1 batch of flaky pie dough, see page 22 or episode 1, 20 ounces of frozen sweet dark cherries, thawed, 1 cup of cherry juice, 3/4 cup sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon ground cardamom, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 egg beaten, and 1 teaspoon water for egg wash. Okay, and let's look at this pie. Isn't that a beautiful pie? I think that's beautiful. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Roll out half of the pie dough and gently shape over a pie pan. Trim off any excess dough and set aside. Strain the cherries, reserving any extra juices. If you don't get much juice from them, or if you are using fresh cherries, you may need to supplement with a little extra juice. In a medium bowl, mix together the sugar, cornstarch, and spices, then add the cherries and juice. Stir to make sure that it is all evenly mixed, then pour it into a prepared pie shell. Roll out the other half of the pie dough and cut into strips for the lattice top crust. Working with 1 strip at a time, weave the lattice together. You can decorate the edges of the crust with any remaining dough scraps. Brush with a beaten egg, taking care not to spread too much of the filling onto the crust. Bake the pie for about 40 minutes until the crust is a rich golden color. Allow to cool for around 2 hours before slicing, and give the filling time to set. Here's the cook's notes. For an extra treat, replace half of the cherry juice with red wine or port, which will give the pie an even more pronounced mulled wine flavor. Perfect for winter. Again, that is a beautiful pie. Okay, and we are to chocolate celebration cake. We are going to run a little bit over here, it looks like. Wait a minute, I'm just going to quickly check my notes here. Okay, yeah. We are going to probably run into a little extra time here. Skill level of this recipe is master. Prep time is 20 minutes. Baking time is 25 minutes. Assembly is 10 minutes, and it makes 1 cake, at least 8 servings. It pairs well with vanilla or ginger ice cream. Peppery red wine. Deep fried plantains on page 163. Okay, what you will need is... Okay, wait here. There's surely no better way to mark a special occasion than with a cake, like this one. Each bite bursts with warming spices, while the smooth nuttiness of the whipped cream manages to keep it feeling light. So go ahead and have another slice. You're celebrating. What you will need is a batch of whipped cream, see episode 1 or page 21 of this book, 1.5 cups of flour, 1 cup sugar, 1/2 cup cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1 cup buttermilk, 1/2 cup vegetable oil, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. For the candied nuts, you will need 1/2 cup sugar, 2 tablespoons water, 1/2 cup hazelnuts, roasted, and a pinch of salt. Now, what you will do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Grease and flour 2 8-inch round baking pans. Sift together the dry ingredients and add the remaining ingredients. Sift the dry ingredients together, then add the remaining ingredients and beat together with a mixer for a minute or two until you have a nice, smooth, light batter. Divide evenly between the 2 baking pans. Bake for 20 to 25 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. Cook for 5 minutes. And transfer to a cooling rack. Allow to cool completely before assembling. To assemble, set 1 cake layer on a serving platter. Spread about 1/3 of the whipped cream over the top of the layer, then gently lower the second on top of that. Repeat the process with another 1/3 of the whipped cream, and then put the rest into a piping bag with a star tip. Pipe decorative clusters of whipped cream along the bottom of the cake and over the top. Dot the top of the cake with some candied hazelnuts, recipe below, and serve immediately. Now, for the candied nuts, you need to line a baking sheet with a silicone mat or parchment paper and set aside. In a small saucepan over medium heat, cook the sugar and water until the sugar has dissolved. Turn up the heat to a gentle simmer and cook for a few minutes until the color has darkened to a rich amber. Remove from heat, stir in the nuts and salt, and swirl to make sure that all the nuts are covered. Working quickly but carefully, tilt the pan and pull the nuts out to fall onto the prepared baking sheet. Separate the nuts and keep them from clumping together. You can also pour a whole mixture out onto the pan and separate the nuts away from the sugar with a fork. Immediately soak the pan with warm water to dissolve the remaining sugar. Allow to cool, then decorate the cake with the candied nuts. And again, that is a beautiful cake. Now we have chocolate cookies. This is going to be the last one for this one, and I know we are way over time. Anyways, this is an apprentice level recipe. Prep time is 30 minutes. Chilling time is 1 hour. Baking time is about 10 minutes, and it makes about 2 dozen cookies. It pairs well with ice cold milk, hot cocoa, and ice cream. Now, it says there's nothing like a cookie that makes you feel a little better when you're down. With this dark chocolate zip and peppery punch, these crispy morsels will help you get through even the worst cataclysms. I like how they hinted at the cataclysm expansion. You'll need 1 stick of unsalted butter, room temperature, 1 cup granulated sugar, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, a pinch of cayenne pepper, 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 cup of flour, and 1 batch royal icing for cookies on page 21 or episode 1 of this series. In a medium bowl, cream together the butter, sugar, egg, and vanilla until you have a nice smooth mixture. Add in the salt and spices, incorporating each completely gradually. Add the flour until you have a dough that is no longer sticky. Form into a disc, wrap in plastic, and chill for at least an hour. When ready, preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and line a baking sheet with parchment. Roll your dough out on a lightly floured surface to about 1/4 inch thick, cut into desired shapes, and place on a prepared baking sheet. Bake for about 10 minutes, then remove to wire rack to cool. To cool completely before icing. And that was chocolate cookies. In the next episode, we will be learning how to make conjured mana buns, and I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, we have been reading from the World of Warcraft, the official cookbook by Chelsea Monroe-Cassel. And it's really nice of her to come up with such wonderful concepts and wonderful recipes. Again, if there's any copyright issues, I will take the video down immediately. And as always, I am going to do my outro since we are done with the video. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. Also, if you want to support me in any way at all, make sure that you read the description because that also has the copyright info. Also, if you want to support me... Oh, I already said that. As always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.